Oh boy, Donald Trump definitely didn't hold back on this meeting.
Doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country.
Yikes, as of course geopolitical foreign tensions are now at an all-time high, and I would argue at an extremely dangerous level. Now, I know a lot of people on the right are kind of celebrating the latest thing that happened with Donald Trump and Volodymyr Zelensky, but I want to kind of be just a little bit of a wet blanket and talk about the larger ramifications and bigger battles at play here, especially with the intel agencies that are now very connected to Zelensky and now have almost nothing to lose now as we enter a very dangerous situation with the possibility of the prolongment and expansion of this larger proxy war between the East and the West that has been unfolding and has been the intelligence agency child ever since 2006, when USAID was literally financing money into Ukraine for a larger political revolution that finally manifested in 2014 with the Maidan Revolution, a revolution that, of course, started the first battle, the first shots that were being fired between Ukraine and Russia that have escalated to this grand proportion where now Donald Trump is talking about how over 1.5 million to 2 million people have already lost their lives. And there are people involved from Colombia, from Korea, from Africa that are already participating in these larger battles. This is a war that needs to end immediately, as this was the face of the Ukrainian ambassador to the United States reaction as Donald Trump and Volodymyr Zelensky, along with J.D. Vance, just went at it at each other during a public press conference where they didn't hold back any shots. Now, a lot of people on the left are saying, oh, Trump looks horrible here. A lot of people on the right are saying, Trump looks amazing here. It's Zelensky's fault. And overall, my larger perspective here, I'll give in a little bit, but Volodymyr Zelensky just released his first statement after, according to many reports here, he was officially kicked out of the White House. This is a big deal. Because this is highlighting how there's going to be no mineral deal here. There's going to be no peace deal here. This is going to create a very awful, horrible situation for everyone involved here that hopefully there is going to be a reconciliation. Hopefully there's people that are going to still come back to the negotiation table after this, but it doesn't look good here for the foreseeable future here with the way that all of this is continuing to unfold here. As Zelensky just issued his first statement saying, thank you, America. Thank you for your support. Thank you for the visit. Thank you, POTUS, Congress, and the American people. Ukraine needs just and lasting peace, and we are working exactly for that. You see that because during the very tense conversations that just unfolded between Trump and Zelensky, J.D. Vance said, can you say thank you? And Zelensky essentially went on to say, I said it before. Now it looks like he is kind of backtracking here with all the official kind of updates here as Trump officially kicked out Zelensky. And according to many reports, he did not walk off on his own. The rare minerals deal was not signed. The White House is saying that the Ukrainians were begging to reset, but Rubio and Waltz informed them Zelensky needs to leave the White House grounds and return when he is ready for peace. The president and U.S. officials felt disrespected by Zelensky's rhetoric and demeanor, citing that he was shrugging and rolling his eyes during the conversation. As now we can see by Zelensky's statements here that he is trying to, quote, a reset. Will there be a larger reset here? To me, this was just the breakdown of communication here as Donald Trump released this statement, specifically saying that, quote, he can come back when he is ready for peace. Now, will there be peace here? I think it's fair to say the chances of that just went down significantly with this breakdown of communications as we got in this video officially, as this is, not just drama unfolding here, but we are now seeing what was happening behind the scenes for a very long time. These types of breakdowns, these type of arguments have been happening behind the scenes. Now the world has gotten to see it here, as it looks like Donald Trump kind of did this publicly to highlight and show everyone, look, I want peace here. He clearly doesn't, as Zelensky, right before this major blowup, right before this major conversation, was talking about some of the diplomatic breakdowns that he had specifically with the Russians that led up ever since 2014 and created a hostile situation that, of course, made him not call for the larger peace talks and negotiations here. And J.D. Vance was like, hey, you should try diplomacy. Zelensky said, it didn't really work before. The two kind of blew up at each other, specifically when Zelensky kind of insinuated that Russia was going to attack the United States, which Donald Trump said, no, he stopped it immediately. And of course, that's when we saw the kind of blow up of the conversation, as the latest reports that we're getting right now is that White House staffers are literally eating Zelensky's lunch right now in the making of this particular video.
Yeah, I just went up to the press area to get an understanding of what we're watching. This is what I was told. The president has kicked Zelensky out of the White House. His delegation right now is telling him that he's got to go home. The president felt disrespected. Officials in the room felt that beyond the language barrier that we've heard some discussion about, Zelensky's body language, shrugging and eye rolling, was ungrateful, disrespectful, and the president feels that Zelensky is not ready for peace, and he can come back when he's ready to talk about peace, but he's not in that position right now, and Zelensky is being told he's got to go. The lunch that they were supposed to have is sitting right outside the hallway, and the press staffers are going to be eating that lunch. This is really pretty incredible. We see the SUV.
Hang on with us.
Yeah, big developments here that, in my opinion, are very unfortunate, since they signal some bigger problems ahead of us. Before getting into the larger kind of thesis that I have here about how this will kind of develop from here, we wanted to remind you to check out wearechange.shop. We have a lot of great promotions. We have a lot of great deals for you guys, great ways to save a bunch of money on some of the things that keep us going and could potentially keep you going to being the healthiest, most amazing version of yourself. I researched a lot of these supplements myself. I take them myself. I give them to my mother. I give them to my friends. And almost everyone in my life here, I make sure, hey, get your blood test results. Make sure you are adequately supplementing in a way that actually is beneficial to you. A lot of people, sadly, don't do the full panel. They don't understand what things they're deficient in, but vast majority of people are deficient. And if you're not deficient, and if you're able to finally optimize your body and you're able to optimize your blood work to be as best as it could be, your body starts running in a different, total way. And that's what I always want to help people achieve, them being free of all the poisons that are usually attacking them, destroying them from within with their poor choices and decisions. Make a good decision. Go to wearechange.shop. Check out our bundles. Check out our store. Check out all the great supplements. You click on any of the supplements. We give you a lot of videos about these supplements that are very important for a lot of people to watch and to understand before taking it into their own bodies. Wearechange.shop. Go there and support this independent media network. As, of course, this breakdown of communications here that we saw here. Again, there's a longer clip that goes on 8 minutes. This is a shorter clip that kind of surmises the larger kind of huge blow up that just happened here. I think it's worth playing a portion of it here. But from my point of view, this is the point where I think Zelensky did make a blunder here. But let's play the tape.
I'm talking about the kind of diplomacy that's going to end the destruction of your country.
Yes, but if you are
Mr.
not
President,
strong...
Mr. President, with respect, I think it's disrespectful for you to come into the Oval Office and try to litigate this in front of the American media. Right now, you guys are going around and forcing conscripts to the front lines because you have manpower problems. You should be thanking the President for trying to bring an end to this conflict.
Have you ever been to Ukraine that you say what problems we have?
I have been to.
Come once.
I've actually watched and seen the stories, and I know what happens is you bring them on a propaganda tour, Mr. President. Do you disagree that you've had problems bringing people into your military?
We have problems.
And do you think that it's respectful to come to the Oval Office of the United States of America and attack the administration that is trying to prevent the destruction of your country?
A lot of questions. Let's start from the beginning.
Sure.
First of all, during the war, everybody has problems, even you, but you have nice ocean and don't feel now, but you will feel it in the future.
That's the larger assessment there that triggered Trump, and it triggered a lot of people saying, hey, we're doing the fighting for you. Are you? I mean, the likelihood of Russia invading and attacking the United States, extremely unlikely. And a lot of people took this as a kind of emotional ploy, manipulation ploy by Zelensky, trying to say that he's going to fight the Russians for us. And again, that's what the previous administration said, but the previous administration also lied. The people who are really at fault here are the Blinkens, are the CFR, the Trilateral Commission, all these other larger international kind of organizations, along with USAID and the CIA, that have been propping up and propelling Zelensky to fight and telling him peace was not an option because you need to do this for us. And they lied to him. They screwed him over. They sacrificed so many lives of the Ukrainian people that have absolutely been destroyed here. And I feel for them, and I sympathize for my fellow Slavic brothers and sisters, and it's absolutely a shame what the old administration did here. As this administration isn't holding anything back, and they're not falling for the propaganda. They're not going along with these fake talking points here as Trump is trying to create a peace deal. But coming from this from a point of view, Russia's going to attack the United States. It's coming from a point of view that you see war here no matter what. And that's a point of view that isn't going to work here, as there are also other reports of Zelensky saying yes to one thing publicly, and then, especially with this raw minerals deal, going behind the scenes and then telling the Ukrainian government and the media that he didn't say yes. And this has been an absolute disaster, back and forth moment that has been kind of captivated and captured by this particular blow-up moment here.
God bless.
You don't know that.
God bless.
You don't
God
know
bless.
that.
You will not have a war.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because
I'm
you're in no
answering on
position
this
to
question.
dictate that.
That's
Remember
exactly
this.
what
I'm not
You're
dictating.
in no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
You
We're
will-
going to feel very
you will
good.
feel influenced.
We're going to feel very
I'm
good and
telling
very
you,
strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed
From the
yourself
very-
to be in a
from
very
the
bad
very
position,
beginning
and he
of the
happens
war.
to be right about it.
Don't I mean, listen. If you're coming to the United States asking for something, not the time to interrupt here. Let's just be real here.
From the very beginning of the war,
You're not
Mr.
in a
Brown,
good position.
I
You don't
was
have
in
the cards right now. With us, you start
I'm
having
not
cards.
playing
But
cards.
right now, you
I'm
don't.
very
You're playing
serious,
cards.
Mr. President.
You're
I'm
playing
very
cards.
serious.
You're
I'm
gambling
the
with the
president
lives
in
of
war.
millions of people.
You can see Zelensky's not even trying to make eye contact here, which is not good body language. You can see Trump looking him directly in the eyes, and Zelensky's looking down, speaking back at him.
You think
You're gambling with World War III.
what do you
You're
think about?
gambling with
What do you
World
think
War
about?
III. And
You-
what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. It's
with
back
all
to you.
respect to your
Far
country.
more than a lot of people said
very
they
respect.
should have.
Have you said thank you once?
A lot
entire
of
meeting?
times.
No, in this
Even
entire meeting,
today.
have you said thank you?
Even today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for
what-
the United
what
States
you're
of
speaking
America
about.
and the president who's trying to save your country.
Yeah, gambling with World War III, I think, is the biggest kind of thing there. As of course, I think we're closer than ever as the Ukrainians and Zelensky and the CIA that has been pushing this larger kind of war. They're now at a situation where they could just go for bust. They could go for a false flag. They could go for blowing up a nuclear facility. They could go for the whole enchilada. They could just say, you know what, there's not going to be any peace here. Now's the real dangerous time, as of course, a lot of these peace deals centered around the United States having an invested interest. From the United States point of view, they were saying, we're going to send American jobs, American infrastructure, American companies over there. We're going to make the rare earth minerals into the latest kind of technological advancements that we're working on here. And therefore, that kind of guarantees you larger security assurances forever, since of course if Russia attacks now, it disrupts our kind of monetary incentive to be in there and to pay back our kind of investment into you. As the Europeans are getting paid back, the Americans aren't. Donald Trump is saying that's not okay here. That doesn't really make sense here. It doesn't really add up here. But when you look at this kind of minerals deal, it allows American infrastructure, American interests to be in there, which would at the same time secure Ukrainian security. And that's the larger kind of notion that I think Zelensky is not really kind of understanding here. As a lot of people are saying, just say thank you and just allow them to speak and allow them to have a conversation here that doesn't erupt with you guys interrupting each other. And I wish we would have seen that. And today, overall, even though some Republicans are celebrating, I'm saying overall it's a sad day for the prospects of peace here and the prospects of all the Ukrainian men that sadly will be now losing their life in perpetuity. And again, the New York Times is saying, this raw mineral deals doesn't have any security for the Ukrainians. I think it does. You see Adam Schiff here coming out saying that the U.S. won't make Ukraine security guarantees. Us having a huge investment in the infrastructure and working it for raw minerals is a security clearance, since it would prevent the Russians from, of course, attacking and going after us, but also give the American people a larger kind of excuse to be in there, which would allow, of course, Ukraine to be protected at the same time. That's what I think is missing from the larger conversation, as clearly there's a lot of warmongers out there, as the globalist Polish prime minister puppet of USAID recipient funds and money that now was turned against his political opposition that helped him get into a position of power, is, of course, releasing messages telling Ukraine that they're not alone here. And again, Slavic people usually do stick together. There's a long history there. There's a long tumultuous history there between the Ukrainians and the Polish people that isn't the best, especially since the 1930s. But anyway, regardless of that, I think right now we're at a very tense situation. A lot of people are saying, yeah, we're getting out of there. But at the same time, this is the perfect opportune time for something major, for a galvanizing Pearl Harbor-like event to happen that could absolutely make this situation just totally explode and get completely out of control. I hope that doesn't happen, but if there ever was a dangerous situation during these negotiations, this is the most dangerous situation. Get the word out there. Stay safe. Let's pray for peace. I love you guys. Stay tuned for more here on youtube.com/wearechange.